How should we as a nation and as Christians respond to Israel and the war in the Middle East? This is part two. So, last we were talking about is how what as Americans should we be doing for other countries right now? We are as a country struggling. We're getting better. I think that Trump is doing a lot to make impacts. We're getting rid of a lot of wasteful government programs. We're getting rid of a lot of wasteful government jobs. And we are starting to get tariffs under control. And I think that he's using tariffs as a great bargaining tool to allow America to actually make sense. We've been allowing other countries to tariff us and not ever tariffing back. And so I think that is important. But we are a far, far cry away from being out of debt. We're a far cry away from being back into a position or a situation where we are able to do things for other nations, for other countries. We still have a poverty crisis. We still have housing crisis. We still have drug problems. There is so much going on. And yes, we have the borders somewhat under control, but we are in no position to be passing out billions of dollars to other nations, to other countries. And so, do I think as a nation we should stop our alliance with Israel? No. But do I also think we should be funding wars, sending out our troops, paying billions of dollars? Also, no. And I'm saying that to any nation. Right now, I think we're in a let's get ourselves situated again, and then we can bless. When we were a bountiful country, we were in a position to help other nations. Right now, we are not in that position. We need to strengthen up ourselves. We need to get our own crap under control, and then we can assist others. It's like the airplane, put your own breathing mask on first so you can help other people, right? So I think it's very important that we realize that it doesn't mean that we can't be allies with them, we can't stand with them, but we don't have to agree with everything that they do. That is nationalism. Nationalism is saying, we are going to accept everything you do because of your nation, no matter what it is, even if it's evil. That's wrong. Nationalism is not what we are. We should be patriotic. We should defend our own rights and be proud of the rights that we've fought for, right? But we shouldn't be defending something no matter how evil or moral it is. And that's not what God did. When Israel did something wrong or evil, he said, no, I'm not standing for it. You got to change this. And he made it very clear time and time again. And so, do I think the government of Israel is perfect? No. Do I think that Bibi Netanyahu is perfect? No. But do I think that means we have to completely excommunicate them? Also, no. They are God's chosen people, so there should be that level of weight and reverence to that, that they are God's chosen people and God will redeem them. That doesn't mean we have to agree with everything they do or be happy with everything they do. And as a separate nation, we can be allied with them and an alliance with them without us going into debt for other countries. This is just logics, common sense, basic economics, even. Can you help other people financially when you cannot even feed your own? No, it's just not how it works. So, do I believe that we should excommunicate ourselves from Israel? No. I believe that God has a redemption plan for them, that it's beautiful and amazing. It's all going to be fulfilled in Revelation, like I said in the last video. If you haven't seen that, you should go check it out. But now I want to get to the other side of this. Does it then justify the loss and the death and the pain of Palestinian families and children? Also, no. There can be two things that are true. Israel and Hamas have been at war. For us to say we hate Israel, right? We don't like Israel, so we're going to celebrate the terrorist organization and literally put flags out and be excited for and represent a terrorist organization. That is also crazy. They are the ones also harming their own people. Terrorists cause terror. They cause suffering and pain. They don't care who you are. They don't care if it's a Palestinian child or a Jewish child. They're terrorists. So for us to then be like, oh, you know what? I don't like Israel, so I'm going to support Hamas. That's the craziest jump, the craziest leap. Because even the regular, normal Palestinian people don't like the terrorists and the terrorism that is happening. So for us to be like, oh, I don't like Israel, so I'm going to jump on board with terrorism, that's insanity. I feel terrible for anybody that has suffering and pain and loss during a war. Wars are awful. Is this war going on too long? I think everyone feels that way. Everyone's like, let's wrap it up, guys. Let's get over with this because it's going too far. The suffering is too much. There is a justification for suffering that happens when there is a war worth fighting for. But when it's going on too long, it's really hard to justify any longer, right? But to then go to the opposite of either side of the extremes to say it's either okay for innocent people to die or we should now support a terrorist organization, this is crazy. Think logically, guys. Look at the truth in front of you and be able to realize that yes, Israel is, as a nation, God's people. The government can be corrupt, and we don't have to approve of that. We should, as Americans, not be financially pouring into every other country when we're struggling. And also, it is also evil and awful and sad when innocent lives die. How how can we not realize all of these things make sense together? And that Hamas is a terrorist group that we should not be excited about or supporting. Like all of those things can coincide and make sense. And we can still, at the end of the day, not hate someone because of their opinion. We don't have to become irrational because the emotions are high, because things are heightened, because war is a terrible thing. It always will be. And so, yeah, the war needs to be over. It needs to be over yesterday. I'm sure everybody on both sides are feeling that. Hamas is evil. The loss of innocent lives is evil. And also, as Christians, we should have some form of an alliance with Israel because they are God's chosen people as well. We are unified in that. It's not that we are taking over, we're not replacing Israel as Christians. We are becoming a part of that group, and there is a redemption plan in place for Israel. So I hope that makes sense. I know this is a lot, and I know that there's a lot of emotions involved. This is people's lives. This isn't something that's light. It's very heavy. But I also think there is basic truths that we can look to without allowing our emotions to take control, without having to hate and scream and fight and swear and act like children who are out of control having a tantrum. There can be multiple things that are true at the same time. Those things don't make the other thing wrong. You know, people are sinners. All of us are sinners, including people in Israel. They are still God's people, just like we as Christians are still God's people, even when we fail over and over. He still redeems us, He still makes our story beautiful. And the loss of innocent lives is wrong, and it's terrible, and it's devastating. And we as a community should be cheering on the end of a war, which on October 6th, there has been discussion, and they say to be optimistic, you know, warily optimistic, that there hopefully will be a peace treaty coming soon. So that's what we should be excited about. And we should not be tying ourselves to terrorist organizations because we don't like the other side. That is lunacy. And so I hope that made sense. I hope that I am coming across in the way that I'm feeling, which is very sincerely sorry for the loss of life, very truthfully caring about the devastation of what happens in war, but also there is logical truth that we all need to be reminded of. We cannot allow ourselves as a country to let our emotions overtake us. And that's all for today. Thanks.